Trap number 3 is hiring an inexperienced contractor who puts your whole investment at risk. Everybody knows that before you hire any contractor, you should get at least 3 competing quotes. But what everybody does not seem to know is that price alone is just one small part of the quotation process. After all, what's the point in going to great lengths and selecting the best design, cabinetry, and so on if you're going to wind up putting it all in the hands of a tradesman who doesn't specialize in kitchens? This is another problem Sam often runs into.
You know, I have every sympathy for homeowners trying to find their way through the renovation jungle. If you're not a building expert, how are you expected to know who to trust and who to stay clear of? The most down-to-earth advice I can give you is the same advice I gave clients like Mr. and Mrs. Walker. The Walkers are a busy young couple. They bought their first home last year. It was a bargain. A nice big house with an ancient kitchen. That's what made it so cheap. They knew all along they needed to upgrade, but by the time we met, they were just about ready to throw up their hands and move back into an apartment. It seemed like everybody they had talked to was giving them different signals, and the estimates were all over the map. One big hardware outlet had quoted them $9,000 for cabinets, but when they looked into it, it turned out to be totally bare bones. No installation, no help with the design, no lighting, no countertops or backsplashes, no tiling. When they asked about how they'd get this other work done, the salesman had told them, hey, anybody with half a brain can be their own general contractor. It's only a kitchen. But the Walkers weren't born yesterday. They knew from friends horror stories about everything that can go wrong will go wrong. Trying to coordinate half a dozen tradespeople on your own is enough to drive most people to distraction. One friend had worked out what to be considered a realistic time frame, and his kitchen was still in pieces 3 months later. Another friend actually had to move into a motel for several days just to get away from all the dust and commotion. Somebody else had to shut down her home business for a week, and when she got it started again, the noise was still deafening. Sure, renovations are disruptive, but if your contractor knows his business and he knows kitchens, he can tell you precisely when to expect what, and keep disruptions to a minimum. So yes, price is important, but so is experience, so is reputation, and so is trust. What I told the Walkers was this: do your homework, go with your gut feeling, and then make sure that agrees with your wallet, never the other way around.
There's no question that finding the right contractor with the right mix of track record and trustworthiness takes time. But as Sam often reminds people, it's time well spent, and time you'll recover by the end of the job. First, insist on a company that can handle everything a kitchen renovation involves: flooring, tile setting, electrical, plumbing, fine carpentry. Next, check their references. Don't be shy about this. Call people they've worked for in your neighborhood and ask if you can drop by. If the kitchen looks as good as the contractor claims, most owners will be happy to show it off to a neighbor. While you're there, a good question to ask is how well coordinated the whole job seemed from their perspective. You'll find that the very best looking kitchens are ones where a contractor pulls together appropriate experts to do different jobs, as opposed to using a few workmen who are jacks of all trades and masters of none. In this sense, your contractor should be more like a team leader, coordinating the work of the best qualified tradespeople. Also, check out the company's professional associations, licensing, and insurance. If somebody trips and hurts themselves during construction, you don't want to be held liable.
And here's an unusual idea. Look for a contractor who doesn't have all the answers the first time you meet. That's because gathering information about your kitchen should be a two-way process, not an instant take-it-or-leave-it proposition. As well, look for a company that gets back to you with answers on time every time. This tells a lot about the way they run their business. And make sure the contract they draw up spells out every last detail: colors, brand names, sketches and layouts, building permits, payment schedules, how extras or deletions are to be handled, even things like who disposes of the old cabinets and fixtures. And warranties. If the contractor has faith in his materials and workmanship, your warranty period should run at least 5 years. Many contractors offer just one. But what happens when their customers need after-sales service? It's too late to rewrite the contract then. Something else to find out at this stage is exactly what design services you're paying for. Some contractors tack on a fee for a design consultant based on a total budget. But what's fair about this? All it means is that if you budget, say, $40,000, they're going to hit you with a $44,000 to $46,000 bill. Or if you insist on sticking to budget, that will reduce the real value of your renovation to about $35,000. That's not responsible contracting. Look around. There are contractors out there who put your interests first.
Most important, select a contractor who appreciates the investment you're making. This is the only way to avoid the final hazard of kitchen renovations. Trap number 4, ignoring the value equation.